If you went for Kaja the Wry, I have an important bit of news, a bit of information that you may not be aware of, or that you may have clocked and then just didn't really realize how important it is. If you have been going for both the Fusion and you, like me, have completed Kaja the Wry event, which it's banished my deck of fates because I finished it, you will have had enough fragments to guarantee yourself that you have got Kaja the Wry. And if you're like me, you're waiting for the Dungeon Divers tomorrow, you should be on around about 55 out of 100 if you've done every single Timid the Fool event. Now, what Plarium announced when they announced this Jester deck of fates is there's a little bit of a bonus here. During this event, you will be able to collect champion fragments for Kaja the Wry. We all know this. If you wailed out on shards like I did, you will have those fragments. The Harlequin partner of Timid the Fool. The partnership is kind of like why I went for Kaja the Wry, really. Moreover, if you manage to get both of them during this Deck of Fate event and Timid's Fragment event, you'll receive a special gift containing a legendary skill tome, a rank 5 chicken, 4 times 50 multi-battles, which is 200 multi-battles, 400 energy, and 500,000 silver. Now, I don't really pay much attention to when they do this. They've done it in the past for a couple of different events where there's like a summoning event, and if you get all the summoning events, I think the first time they did it was like the Supreme Champions. If you've got Supreme Kale, Supreme Gaelic, Supreme Elhain, and Supreme Aethel, if you got them all, they gave you like a bonus. But normally those things are so unachievable that most of the time I just read this little bit just to understand what the Deck of Fates is about. Like I'm looking in here to see what we need to do, and I ignore the rest of it. And this made it sound like, essentially, you needed to summon Timid the Fool and get Kaja the Wry during the Deck of Fates event, right? Which is obviously not going to be achievable for the majority of people and wouldn't be desirable because you don't really want to pull Timid the Fool from a shard when you're about to get him from a fragment if you've been doing the fusion. But there was a clarification on Discord about how this works from a moderator, and I just want to bring attention to because actually it's a very important clarification. So there is a Reddit thread here, extra rewards for getting both Kaja and Timid, just the frags, only to actually pull them. As you can imagine, someone's asking this question. I'll be getting all 100 fragments for both, but I wasn't planning to pull them straight away. Any idea if you'll qualify for the extra rewards if you just get the fragments? Because most people who do the fragment collections, like even I was thinking this, is I'll get Kaja until I actually need or require either the points for a champion chase or the champion for some content. They kind of just sit there. I'll show you my list after we go and cover this bit, but you'll see what I mean. Like I've got some champions that have been sitting there for probably 12 months that I haven't used yet. So that's the nice thing about fragment collection events is you can just keep the heroes. If you don't need Timid the Fool straight away, well, you can just do it. Couldn't do it with the Panda. The Panda was a traditional fusion. So if you don't fuse it in the time window, you lose the fusion. So that is why a lot of people prefer the fragment collections, because it's more than just the champion. There are bonus points either in CVC where you get 30,000 points if it's your first time pulling that hero, or 500 points for a champion chase, sometimes even more, 650 if it's a void one like a Supreme Elhain was. So as you can see, someone asked this question. There was lots of different comments here. Some people didn't even notice this. You can see Putty Muppies say, where did you read this? It's, you know, these in-game news events, not many people read it. Someone asked here, what if I pulled during the summon rush? Good question. Just says managed to get them, not many constraints. They were very vague, but thankfully we have a pretty good moderator community on the Reddit who has a bit of direct sort of ability to ask Plarium directly. So further up here we can see that Lord B4 Mod, who's a moderator for the Reddit Discord, has pinned a comment. Meant to post about this and then got busy. I had this discussion with Plarium earlier today. Here is what they said. Now, this is important. It means that in order to get this gift as a player, you should get both champions, not just their fragments. So you have to actually summon the champions from your fragment collector. So that's the first point. You can't just have the fragments sitting there. You physically have to acquire the heroes. However, they may do so until the end of the fragment summon, not the Festival of Frights. The Festival of Frights being this like Titan event style event that's been going on, the thing that's blocking half of our event view. This means getting both champions until the 8th of November. That in turn means that players will be able to get CVC points during the next CVC on the 7th of 9th of November, which is around about 7 days away. So what they're saying is, so long as you have acquired, by summoning them from the Fragment Collector, both Timid and Kaja the Wry, before the end of the Timid fusion, which is the 8th of November, you can get this bonus reward for your account, which is a free legendary book. It's essentially, I say free, you've spent your resources getting Kaja the Wry and getting everything else, but it's essentially a free legendary book if you have done the Kaja the Wry and the fusion. So you shouldn't miss out on this. Now that means you've got 2 windows of opportunities to claim this bonus. So we're about to get a champion chase. Champion chase will be starting tomorrow. I don't think it's in the warm-up event, or is it the day after? I don't know which day it is anymore. Ever since I've come back from Vegas, I'm in 4 different time zones. Friday, there'll be a champion chase. That is the last summoning event for Timid the Fool. So you can either use Kaja the Wry to get 500 points towards Timid the Fool fragments and then summon Timid the Fool during that event, or you can hold both of them and summon them both in Clan vs. Clan for 60,000 bonus points, because you get 20,000 and 10,000. So long as you haven't summoned these heroes, these champions, you should get 60,000 points. Or you can split them. You can get Kaja the Wry in the weekend, save Timid the Fool, and summon it during CVC. But just make sure, if you're going to wait until CVC, you do it on the first day. You have to do it on the 7th. If you leave it till the end, the last minute, you might miss out on these bonus rewards. So that's kind of like the topic of today's video, really. I just wanted to shout out this bonus here because it's not very clear. It wasn't very accurate. You know, even when you read this here, you can see it says, if you collect the champion fragments, well, actually, it said, you know, if you manage to get both of them during this event, it's not very clear what event, and it's not very clear what it means by get. So the fact now we've got clarification, you have to physically summon the champions from the fragment portal, and you have to do it by the 8th of November. So that's either during the first day of Clan vs. Clan or during the champion chase, and you'll bag yourself a free legendary skill tome. They'll just give it to you, free gift. I say free. Free is a bad word. I know everyone in chat is going to be like, you spent loads of money and loads of shards to get the Kaja the Wry. It's free if you've spent the resources. So it's a little bit of bonus. So actually, it does make the Kaja the Wry event even better, because now we've got 2 legendary tomes, 2 5-star chickens, and about 1,600 energy out of doing that, the deck of fates for the same resources, where before we only had 1. So actually, it's starting to feel a little bit more like a normal champion chase, where you can get 2 legendary books or normal summon rush. If we think on a normal summon rush, you'd have to go probably 10 to 15 sacred shards deep to start getting legendaries, right? Most of the legendary books start around about 4,900 at the earliest. That is basically 10 sacred shards. Now, it's not the 20 sacred shards you would have had to spend. It's still more expensive than a summon rush, but at least it's starting to feel a little bit closer towards those resources. It doesn't feel such a deep investment. You're getting a guaranteed champion, plus you're getting the chance of the champions you had from those shards. I got an Arbiter, I didn't get my Kaima, plus you're getting 2 legendary books, 2 5-star chickens, about 1,600 energy, and an XP barrel. It's pretty good. It's pretty good going. Like I mentioned, the fragment summons, you can see I've had fragments here from months and months ago. Most of them are Doom Tower champions. We've got Chromax, Gronjar, Vassal, the Seal. Arix, I've had as my daily login champion for about 12 months now. I've still got Jetney in here. I've still got Kaja. I'm pretty sure I can do the champion chase this weekend just by summoning these. I've just held them in case I want to use them, because I can't really get any more Doom Tower champions. You can see I'm probably going to finish Jinro this rotation. So I've been sitting on some pretty good fragments. A lot of other people I know are like this as well. This is the advantage with having fragment champions. So it's a little bit of a shame that I'm going to lose it, but I think for a legendary book, it's probably worth pulling in a CVC. I'll probably do mine in a CVC unless I really need the fragments from the champion chase. I can skip some of the fragments in the champion chase because I've done every event so far, so I can probably skip some over there. I only need the first batch of fragments. There you go, guys. Make sure if you've done Kaja the Wry, you get your Timid and you get your Kaja the Wry, and you summon them before the 8th of November, either during the champion chase or during the Clan vs. Clan, so that you can get yourself a free legendary book from Plarium to try and compensate you for the extreme amount of cost you've had to do. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next video.